Welcome back to the Smallholding here in Herefordshire. We're already 2/3 through April. How did that happen? It's an incredibly busy time, so I thought I'd give you a tour around just so you can see what's going on. One of the busiest places at this time of year is the kitchen garden, so let's start there. So it's that time of year where there's not much going on in the garden in terms of stuff that's edible, but we do have this purple sprouting broccoli, which has lasted well. Just behind it, the rhubarb. This was actually in a pot when I first moved in here, and it was really struggling, but I put it in the ground last year and dumped a whole bag of farmyard manure on top of it, and that's done quite well. Over here, if we go into the greenhouse, there's a mixture here of edible stuff, and I'm trying to get the garden looking a bit better as well. But just in terms of what you might call small holding produce, we've got some beetroot here. I'm growing lots of different varieties of tomatoes this year. So we've got the Marglobe beefsteak there, these indigo cherry drops, Buffalo Sun in the corner. They've been really hard to germinate. The grow lights should be on actually, but they're not at the moment, but they're now looking all right. They'd be a tiny bit leggy, but they'll be okay. Over here, we've got some chilies. Still got loads in the freezer from last year. Cucumbers here. That one at the end actually looks like it got a bit cold last night, but again, it should bounce back. Some celeriac, which I need to thin out and pot on. What have we got at the back there? Some fennel, again, which looks pretty dry. I've actually just finished work, so I need to come in here and water everything. Some more tomatoes here. Those are black brandywines, a nice heritage variety. These more Buffalo Sun. This was the second lot that I did after the first lot failed to germinate. Tigerella, lots of those. They've actually done really well. More Tigerella here, I think. Yep. Lots of those. I'm going to end up giving some of these away to the neighbours. Over at the back, these are cauliflowers. Need to get those in the ground. They're doing really well. At the back, I've got some globe artichokes, which kind of double up really, don't they? Because they are edible and you get some nice food out of those, but also look amazing in the garden. So I tend to plant those in the flower beds. Over here, I've got some genuine lima beans. Everyone in my family loves butter beans, and these are kind of the original and the best. I have read that they don't grow very well in this country, so we'll have to see about that. What else we got? Those are flowers for the garden. Tomatoes already in grow bags. These are a beefsteak variety. I can't remember the actual full name of them. I abbreviated it on the label, but they're Italian beefsteak variety by Frenchy Seeds. Some more Tigerellas at the end here. So these only went in a couple of days ago. These are sweet peas rather than peas. So again, I'm trying to do stuff for the garden as well as for the veg beds. I'll just take you over for a quick walk to the raised beds in the vegetable garden. So here we are. As you can see, there's quite a lot covered up. This is the garlic. Allium leaf miner is a real pest here. So at this time of year, when those are flying, you really have to cover everything up in the allium family, the onion family. But those are doing really well. Likewise under here, maybe I could just lift the cover a bit. These were onion sets planted, I don't know, 6 weeks ago, 2 months ago maybe. And also some volunteer potatoes from last year's crop that I will have to get rid of. This bed has got some different varieties of carrot in. They've been in a while, but it's been a bit cold, and I don't know whether you can just see here before it goes out of focus, but they're just starting to show through. There's a couple more there. So it's been so dry, I've been watering these, but it's also been cold at night, which is meaning that some things are struggling to germinate. There's parsnips at the back, and we know how difficult those are to germinate, but they'll get there eventually. Okay, that was the veg beds. Let's go for a quick walk down the field and see what's going on down there. Just through the gate into the top field. The chickens are here. Unfortunately, they are in chicken flock down because of the blinking bird flu outbreak, so they're not happy with me locking them away there, but you've got to do it, I guess. I've been busy over in this corner here since I last saw you. I've done all this new fencing. All the fencing here had completely collapsed. Just need to finish it off and put the top wire on here. Just need to order some in, but that's made that a lot more stock proof. There's still a real mess here actually. The previous owners of the house used this corner as a bit of a dumping ground, and I'm slowly clearing it all out. But sorry, that's our friend above us in the plane again. But yeah, new fencing down here. I've got a couple of spare posts and some wire, so I'll probably just patch up some of the other fencing on the other side of this field. It's not too bad, but the odd post has rotted, so we will get that fixed up and stock proof. Okay, we're just heading down now to the bottom field. Those big oaks are doing well. Hundreds and hundreds of years old, those things, and just coming into leaf. So we'll head into the bottom field. Over here we've got the bees. It's actually clouded over a bit, but I came down here a couple of hours ago and they were flying like crazy. I'm not going to go too close because I've not got my gear on, and one of these hives has developed a bit of a bad mood recently, so we don't need anything untoward to happen. I've got this new hive stand here which I bought last week, and I've got a couple of new hives on order. So 3 at the moment, we'll soon be up to 5 and maybe more, depending on how many splits we need to do. But yeah, they're doing okay. As I showed you last time, the numbers are high. This is actually the hive with probably the fewest bees in it, but you can see it's still fairly busy. There was one thing I was really surprised about when I moved into this house, just under 2 years ago now, and it's that with all this ground, that nobody had really seemed to have planted an orchard. But I've made a few discoveries over the last few weeks, which might turn out to prove me wrong. Come and have a look. So this tree I did know about. This is a Bramley cooking apple tree, and we had a great crop off it last year. As you can see, the blossoms all coming out. It was a bit overgrown, this tree, so I've given it a good pruning this winter, and I suspect it's the first time it's been pruned in a very long time. So I've opened out the base of it here, so we've got that goblet shape. You can see the lighter parts of the wood where I've taken off some of that. It still needs a good thinning out up here, but you're not supposed to do it all at once, or you can get a lot of vigorous new growth that just goes straight up. They call them water shoots. However, the real surprise of this year is this. So this is just the most incredible display of blossom. It's just magical. And the striking thing about it is that we moved in June 2023. It's now April, middle of April. 2 years later, almost 2 years later, 2025, and I've never seen this blossom before, and it's certainly never borne any fruit. It's an apple tree as far as I know, although my identification app sometimes tells me it's a plum tree, but I think it's an apple. And if you listen closely, I'm just going to be quiet, just listen. I don't know whether my mic will pick that up, but the whole tree is buzzing. It's absolutely alive with bees. Hopefully my bees, who will be taking all the nectar from this back to those hives and making some delicious apple blossom honey. So the big question I have about this tree is, what is it? I did post something on a veg growing group, and some people on there suggested it was a non-fruiting crabapple tree. I kind of hope that's not right, because I'd love to get a fruit crop off this. As I say, it's mystifying to me that there's never been a proper orchard planted here. There's plenty of space for it. So I'm just hoping that maybe this is one of those trees that when they get old and they don't get looked after very well, they go biennial, so they only fruit every couple of years. So it may be that we've sort of missed a season. I didn't pay much attention to this part of the grounds when we moved in the first year. There was just so much else to do. Certainly didn't see it blossom like this last year. So I'm really hoping that there'll be a really heavy fruit crop of it this year, especially if all this blossom sets into fruit. It should be amazing. But again, it's another tree that will need restoring. It's clearly not been pruned for a long time. There's a lot of other trees encroaching on its space which might just need a cut back as well. But I'm hoping that it may turn out I was wrong about the orchard and there is something here after all, and I'll show you a couple of other things as well. So there's another one here. It looks like a similar type of tree. It's a lot smaller. Again, I don't recall any blossom on it last year. And over here, again, slightly tricky to shoot against the sky. Let me see if I can come around the front of it a bit, but this tall, fairly thin tree here, again, it's a bit crowded by a hawthorn behind it and the bramley tree. That's a green gauge, so type of plum. And we do get fruit on that. But what happens is the squirrels eat it all before we get a look in. And then here, which is another favourite of the dratted squirrels, is a walnut tree. Not particularly big, not particularly old, but again, it does get fruit on it. Quite a lot of walnuts on it last year, but again, the squirrels had every one of them before we got near it, so maybe we'll try and share them a bit more with the squirrels this year. So that's a quick April tour of the Smallholding. It's an incredibly busy time of the year, as you will know if you're a smallholder, but even if you're just a gardener, particularly a kitchen gardener, you will know just how busy this time of year is. So much to do, and if like me you have a proper job as well, finding the time to fit it all in is the challenge. But thanks for watching this video. Do like and subscribe, and if you do have any information about that apple tree I showed you down at the bottom of the field, drop that in the comments below. Is it a non-fruiting crab apple, or do you know something else that will cheer me up and tell me that there's going to be a big apple crop on that later this year? I'll see you again soon. Lots to crack on with, but we'll be back with another video in the next week or so.